So if you're like me, you're about to start purging everything in your vault, making room for the next season in the big yearly expansion. By the way, yes, we are making a video on our vault and what we're cleansing. Be looking for that video by this Friday. We'll cry together. With that being said though, I wanted to focus on something else. I wanted to focus on your armor. Because even though a lot of us might just go ahead and just scrap all our armor or a majority of our armor going into this next expansion to make room for new armor, I want to implore you to keep certain sets, most notably high resilience armor pieces. Now, high resilience doesn't really do a lot in PvE. I mean, it probably does next to nothing outside, of course, giving you back your barricade faster on your Titan class, which by the way was a great change that Bungie made, tying mobility to hunters, recovery to warlocks, and resilience to Titans. Regardless though, there's just not a lot of benefit of high resilience inside of PvE. But for PvP, this has been my cheesy ace up the sleeve this entire season. And I haven't talked about it until now because, well, it's going to become even more important going into this next season due to weapons being buffed, certain archetypes being meta. High resilience is about to have a major place inside of PvP. Now, before we get into this, I do want to just go over health values real quick, because this is always a topic that gets debated over and over again. And these are numbers pulled from Mercules, who I trust very much. Matter of fact, the entire Destiny community trusts him. Resilience tiers range from 0 to 10 though. On the lowest end, you have 186 estimated HP. And on the high end, it sits at about 200. Now, I don't normally rock high resilience on my hunter or my warlock, but when I do play Titan, yes, I do rock high resilience. It decreases my barricade cooldown. And remember guys, we have an exotic coming that will give us an overshield when consuming our barricade energy. Having high resilience in this next sandbox is going to be nasty. With that being said though, let's talk about the benefits of high resilience and having 200 health. Why I have been using this on my Titan, why it is beneficial, and how it actually increases most time to kill values. So when we talk about time to kill values, like when I say 600s or 600 round per minute auto rifles have a 0.7 time to kill value. 150 round per minute hand cannons have a 0.8 second time to kill value. Understand that that time to kill value is based on an average. It's given to you normally from the perspective of like 6 resilience or less. Most people don't rock any higher than 6. But what happens when you actually extend that resilience? When you actually start reaching those upper levels, especially max resilience and 200 health? Well, you start to be able to survive a lot more things. Number one, Thorn's ability to 2-crit one body. Yes, Thorn can do that now as a 150. We even brought it up last week that Thorn, when converted to a 140 round per minute hand cannon, and it inevitably gets that damage bump as it's changing archetypes, we'll be able to kill most Guardians in 2 crits, one body, non-resilience or less. Now I say 9, it could potentially be 10. Again, there is some rounding of numbers there, but this is another scenario here where having max resilience can result in you surviving 2-crit one body. Another beautiful thing I like to do even currently when going up against 600 round per minute auto rifles, 600s have a 0.7 time to kill value, right? They're deadly. But if you actually fight 600s with max resilience, this actually artificially increases the time to kill to 0.8 seconds, requiring an extra shot. Now I know, 0.7 seconds to 0.8. Is that big of a difference? Well, yeah, it actually is. In those moments where it all really just comes down to math, you're just as accurate as they are. They're just as accurate as you are. It comes down to math. I've been doing this cheesy high resilience max armor thing since Destiny 1. It's a reason why in sweats they ban it, because it matters. It helps. Vigilance Wing is actually one of the deadliest weapons in the current sandbox, sitting at a 0.77 time to kill value. I would say the biggest leg up that Vigilance Wing has over every weapon in the game is that time to kill value simply requires you to land 50% of your crits. The other 50% can be bodies. It is hands down the most forgiving, deadliest weapon in the game. And being a 5-round burst pulse rifle, Vigilance can actually kill Guardians, non-resilience or less, in 5 crits, 5 body. But having max resilience could result in one of those shots having to be another crit or a whole nother burst, extending the time to kill value of Vigilance. High impact pulse rifles can easily 2 burst Guardians, 5 crits, 1 body, 197 damage, again some rounding, giving high to max resilience a leg up, avoiding the 2 bursts. I know we're not in a pulse rifle meta, We're definitely not going to be in a pulse rifle meta next season, just point that out. But another scenario where having high resilience or max resilience can keep you alive. And again, survivability isn't everything, but in some light trials or elim, absolutely. Crimson, oh my god, Crimson is looking disgusting next season. Mark my words right here, right now. Crimson's going to be meta for controller users. For some reason, it still feels funky for mouse and keyboard, but whatever. Crimson, though, doesn't have the best time to kill value at 0.87 seconds, but starting next season, it's looking like this weapon won't receive damage fall off until around 35 meters. 35 meters! Did you hear that right? I know a lot of people are like, yo, I wish they just give us back Red Death. That's Red Death. It pretty much is Red Death. With that kind of range and the damage that it already puts out, Crimson might as well be a pulse rifle. But all hand cannons are getting a major buff there in range, which is why I really think we're going to be in a hand cannon meta next season. With that being said, though, Crimson does have the ability to 5 crit 2 body guardians, making it relatively forgiving. However, having a little bit higher resilience, north of 193, so essentially anything north of 6 resilience, pushes Crimson to land another crit, thus increasing your survivability. Sturm, man, we have gone over Sturm so many times. We've done so many builds with Sturm. And again, Drang is getting an updated version of itself next season. Sturm with Sturm overload rounds and pretty much any buff. Inertia override, empowering rifts, Sun Warrior, charged with light, you name it. Sturm has the ability to land a whopping 195 damage. We've shown it multiple times of us being able to go in there and get the one-shot kill on Guardians. Makes for beautiful clips. However, the clips you don't see are the clips where people survive. And normally it was a Titan rocking high resilience. Anything north of 8 resilience can survive the one-shot Sturm. Again, giving more value here to rocking high armor. Another weapon, the Ikelos SMG. I know it's not meta, or at least not meta enough for people to use it. Over 600 round per minute auto rifles. I think with 600s being adjusted next season, depending on how much they're adjusted, you could see a rise in certain SMGs, most notably Ikelos. Ikelos has a 0.67 time to kill value. It can lock down kills non-crits at 198 damage. And again, Ikelos is nothing to sneeze at with the right roll, with them Seraph rounds, with dynamic sway, tap the trigger. Oh, this weapon's got some reach, man. But again, cheesy tactic for my folks that want to commit to high resilience. You can survive, requiring an extra shot from the Ikelos, thus extending that time to kill value from 0.67 to now 0.75. Again, small values, but they really do make a difference, especially going against certain Guardians that are so used to getting kills. Like, they count the shots in their head when they're shooting, especially like hand cannons, right? You're counting the shots in your head. I do it all the time. I actually start looking away from the target, thinking they're dead, assuming it because I've killed so many previous Guardians before in that same amount of shots, to then realize this cheesy SOB is rocking high resilience. And see, that's the kind of tactics that throws people off. 110 round per minute hand cannons, converting to 120s next season, and they are looking to have stupid range. I'm talking 40 plus meters of range. For many Guardians, 5 resilience or less, or nearly, I know there is some rounding, 120 round per minute hand cannons can 1 crit 2 body. Again, having the higher end of resilience to max can allow you to survive. That's going to be very important. Again, high resilience might not be as important right now, but in this next sandbox, there needs to be immediate testing done on this. And the final weapon, and actually one of the main weapons that pushed me to use higher resilience, the last word. You go up against a controller user on PC with the last word, just get ready to die a lot, especially in certain maps that pushes you in those close corridors. Last word is disgusting. And to most Guardians, it can kill 3 crits, 1 body. On Guardians, 7 resilience or less, or nearly. Hence, another reason why high resilience is so beautiful here. It pushes your enemies to land more crits, taking more time to land their shots, thus elevating your survivability, as well as your potential to counter. Is it kind of cheesy? Yeah. I mean, pretty much, yeah. But that's just the way the game is. For now, though, I would say keep some armor pieces that do have some high resilience stats. Don't just shred them. I see a lot of people just immediately delete armor pieces with high resilience. A lot of people go for recovery, intellect, mobility, things like that. No one really looks at high resilience pieces and goes, ooh, look at this high resilience. But even if you don't have high resilience armor pieces and they're just like mid-tier, the good thing about resilience mods is they only cost 3 instead of 4 or 5 like intellect and recovery mods, which is extremely beneficial considering we want to include other perks, targeting perks, reload perks, maybe some charge with mods, etc. So guys, try out high resilience today. It may not be as potent in this sandbox, although it does add a level of survivability, but I think in this next sandbox, especially with the shift in the meta, with the huge buff coming to range on hand cannons, high resilience is something that's gonna keep you alive. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.